So I did a review on Fire in the Lake and just want to show how easy it can play, especially solo. So what I've done is set up the not beginner, but the short scenario with only a couple of tweaks. One of the tweaks being the current leader. There's a couple that you have to put in this box already, and then shuffle in the other leaders and failed coup cards. But what I've done is just keep this start as the first leader, and then the regular shuffle with the event deck, and having basically all the coup cards shuffled together and then randomize within here. So there are 3 coups in here for the short scenario, and it's 8 cards per deck. That was shuffled in separate piles and whatnot. Okay, so this is the main setup. I'm going to be playing as the US. I want to be able to win at least once and then move on to the next faction. So, just for those that aren't too familiar, this is the flow of play. Alright, so first one executes, second one executes, just the eligibility, next card, rinse, repeat. Pretty easy, pretty simple. So to get started, we'll have the first event, alright, Korean War at Arms, and then the next event will be Master/White Wing. So normally how this would work is you would look at the card and see the lineup, and if you wanted to say pass and you'd be the first eligible in the next card, then first eligible in the next card, then maybe you'd pass and try to play this. So let's see. So for Korean War at Arms, so typically the unshaded is for the coin crew, and the shaded is typically for the insurgency crew, or benefits the insurgency crew. We'll just leave it at that. Okay, so to begin, here's the startup line. So we have the VC and ARVN next. These little rifles here mean that ARVN and the NBA, if they are eligible, will not play the event whatsoever. They'll just skip it, probably because it doesn't benefit them. Alright, so first off is the VC. So we have a nice little flow chart for the VC, and this is the flow chart. So we'll go ahead and open that up. And so the flow chart is can the Vietcong, can they tear at support? As it stands, yes, because we have one in this province here that's at passive support, which counts. So yes, they can tear there. They could actually tear there as well. And anywhere else, nope, not that I can see at a glance. So the answer to that question is, can they tear at support? Yep. So without exposing the last underground VC at any VC base with no support. So that's just kind of giving you some guidance. And once the VC goes to 0 resources, they will tax, which basically gives them more resources. So then they can go back and go into terror. So the way it works is you can do an operation special activity, and it doesn't have to be, you have to do this first, then this one. You could actually do a special activity first, and then your regular operation. So here we have terror, and it will tell us, what is it used for? To build opposition and hurt the economy. And location, spaces with underground VC guerrillas. All right, and it's 1 cost per province/city. So that's the procedure. So in each selected space, you activate it, which is just flip over, which we'll see in a minute. Activate them, and then if it's a province or city, place a terror, and if there is none, and also shift it 1 level toward active opposition. And if it's line of communication, which is like some of these roads here, if they're on a line of communication, and sabotage it to get rid of it. Okay. See how easy this is? Already? Okay, so let's put that aside. So here we have some steps on how to do it. So everywhere where possible at the highest population, and then if it's more than 12 VC resources and 8 is less than 30, sabotage all on sabotage line of communication, which they're not on any right now. So as we can see, there are 2 spots that they can tear, which is here and here. Okay? Now, within it says with the highest population. So here's the population number there. So that's a 1, and this is a 2. So they would actually tear here first. So there we go. So we just flip it over to activate, and then we grab a terror marker, place it in the province for terror, and then it gets shifted 1 toward active opposition. So from passive support, it goes to neutral. which then for US they lose 2 points because that's how many, the population number is also the number of points it is worth. So 1 times 2 is 1, so because it goes away, it goes to 0, so they lose 2 points. All right, and then that's it for there. They lose a resource, easy, and they can continue much farther. So they can actually tear this area without exposing the last gorilla at a base. Same thing, we take away this, which is 1 point, and then we also put a terror marker right there, and then 1 more point is lost. Okay, just turn this around so I can read it a little bit better. Okay, so now that this is done, and everywhere where a shift is possible, and there's a shift possible in one other area, which is here. They have the resources to tear there and get support for the VC. I think that's the last spot just at a glance. So they'll also activate here. Again, place a terror marker. And then it shifts 1 level toward active opposition. So that would mean that it goes to a passive opposition, which is 1 point for the VC. So then we go 1 point for them. All right. So that's the goal of the VC, is to basically remove control everywhere, but also at the same time getting opposition, and then also placing bases on the map. And so their goal is to have opposition plus bases on the map to get to at least 36. All right, that's their goal. Pretty easy. Now, since that's done, they will then tax per below, and tax is down here. So taxing up to 4 spaces with underground VC and no coin control. And then why don't I also place some markers here just to kind of track. So they tear it there, tear it here, and then also tear it here. Okay, 3 spots, okay. Now, tax. So if VC at 10 plus resources subvert instead, they have 9 now. So they will not do that. And then they'll tax on level 2 economies, then 1 economies of line of communications, but again, they're not on any of those spaces at present, so they can't even do that. At active support, which there is none at active support that they can tax at. And then if only at 0 resources, which they're not within this. So basically they can't do that. So if none of those fit the bill, then they can go up to subvert, which then replace 2 ARVN if able, place a VC where only 1 ARVN cube, and that's up to 2 spaces with underground VC, and then also some ARVN cubes. Is that the case? So there's 1 ARVN police there. There's a few ARVN cubes here. The yellow and orange is what we're looking for. And those are only 2 spaces, so technically that could be possible. So what does subvert actually do? To take over ARVN units. And it can be rally, march, or terror. That has to be accompanied with the special act or operation that they did. Okay, so subvert, location 1 or 2 spaces, which we know, and then each space remove 2 ARVN cubes or replace 1 with a gorilla. -1 patronage per 2 ARVN pieces removed. So putting that aside, right, subvert, so replace 2 ARVN if able. Place a VC where only 1 ARVN. Okay, yeah, place a VC where only 1 ARVN cube. To remove coin control from most population, and we want to remove evenly. So just to make sure it makes sense to me, so move 2 ARVN or replace 1. Okay, so this one it says to replace 2 if we're able. And this doesn't cost any resources either. Oh wait, also we forgot to pay for the second and third tear, so there we go. Fixed it. Okay. So they want to replace 2 if able. In each space, or replace 1 with so they definitely could do that. And then evenly where possible, so they're just basically going to replace this cube with a gorilla cube here. And they're trying to get control, but they can also replace this one here. And then we put another gorilla there. And then now, because, well, actually it was never under control anyway, so they just maintain chaos. But then over here they can't really get control, but there we go. So we put that there for their subvert activities, and then that's it. That's their turn. So in that case, what they did in a sense was they did a operation plus a special activity, so they go here. So now the second up faction, which is ARVN. Now ARVN will not execute this event card, so we're just going to leave that alone. So for them, they can do a limited operation or event. We know they're not going to do the event, so it's going to be a limited op, which means whatever they decide in their little Chinese menu, they can only do it in one space instead of an unlimited amount. So let's go ahead and open this up and then close this up. Okay, so this is their flow chart for ARVN. So pass, event, or operations, which means, so is there a capability card coming up next? That is a no. No capability, because it will be marked as a capability. They would actually pass and try to play that capability, and that would also go for a roll. Current card is capability, which it is not. Skip. Play current non-capability event unless it's ineffective, or play it per the instructions, which, you know, we have a little rifle here, which means they're not going to play it anyway, so skip. And are their resources less than 3? No. So because of all that is no, we go here. Are there 12 plus pieces in the ARVN available box, which this is the ARVN available box, and we don't really need to count all that, so that's basically a yes. So because that's a yes, they will train. I know it says up to 3 spaces, but I'm going to keep it like it's an actual player. So it's going to be in 1 space. So in up to 3 cities / coin bases, place exactly 6 cubes evenly and fuse first in a tie. And then within the priorities, if there's none of these available, then it would be Rangers. And within these two, they want to add coin control and to add police or ARVN troops where there are none of that type. So there's no place that they can add coin control based on how they train, because the way train works here, it's only cities or provinces that are without NVA control. Well, actually, so maybe they could. Actually, they could. So they want to gain coin control. And the easiest place to gain coin control, well, I know it says up to 3 city sets / coin bases. That's the first thing we want to do. They can't conduct a special activity, and then blah, 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 blah. Anyway, so this one. And then add police or ARVN troops where none of that type. So, and a coin base also can be like here. So they could actually potentially train in here, but they already still have control. So that's fine. So we can remove these markers because don't need them anymore to track. Okay. So city or provinces, so we have these two that don't have troops. This one doesn't have troops. Yeah, we're at police ARVN troops, we're not that type. So those are 3, and then those 2 here. So there are many spaces where they could train potentially. So because there's so many spots, we'll go ahead and randomize it. So we'll take 2 die, 2 of the d6s, so that's 34. So look for 34 on the map in here somewhere. Here we go. So 34, that's way, which is here. So they'll train in that spot. So they're gonna place exactly 6 cubes. There we go, 6. evenly. They're going to train in there. All right. And then that costs them 3 resources. Okay. That's that. So in a sense, this is what they did. Second faction, limited operation, which they did, and that's their turn. That's it. So those two go over here. Nothing happens here. Because both turns are done, because you only have 2 factions that activate on a card, this one goes into the active space, and then we flip over the next one, which already we have a coup card that came up pretty soon. So we're just going to put a little monsoon token on there, and the monsoon just means that there's no sweep operations, no march operations. The air transport has a max of 2 spaces and cannot play any pivotal events. So that's what monsoon means, because this is going to be the next card, and this is the card that kind of dictates who wins, or who wins. Because nobody has the victory yet, we'll just go through that coup round and then that's it. Okay, so in here, since the VC already went, they can't play on the card because they're now ineligible, and so is ARVN. ARVN's ineligible. Only 2 factions that are eligible now are the NVA and the US. And on this card, the next one up is the US, so the US will go first and then the NVA will go second. So this one is US or ARVN free sweeps in 1 non-jungle space with US and ARVN troops, and they execute a free assault as the US. And so because this is in effect, there are no sweeps. I'm pretty sure the event cards don't. Right? I have to look at the rules on that one. But in any case, I don't think I'll be able to do this. So we'll just have to pick from our Chinese menu to figure out what we want to do. But that's actually turn 1. Pretty quick. Not too bad. And then we'll see what happens in turn 2.